Hello everyone, welcome back to All the Things, and this is it. This is going to be the final video in our restoration process on the little BMW Z4. Today I'll take you through the exterior detailing process, first washing the car and then polishing it and all of that. It's an extremely satisfying one and I couldn't be more happy with how the car turned out. So if you want to see the end product, stick around until the end of the video. It is something special. Now it was finally time to give the car a good clean in preparation for the polishing process. I'm starting off with some snow foam. This is something that you simply spray on the car and spray off again. And the idea behind this is to first get rid of all of the loose dust and sand particles on the paint, so that when you actually wash your car and start scrubbing, that it doesn't cause any excess swirl marks. This step is actually somewhat unnecessary in this case because obviously the paint is swirled already and I'm going to polish the car as it is. It just feels wrong to not do it the right way, so here we are. After the snow foam, it was just time to give the car a normal wash. The microfiber glove that I'm using here works brilliantly for this purpose. It picks up way less dust and sand particles compared to something like a sponge and really minimizes the amount of swirl marks you can cause by washing your car like this. We also spent quite a bit of time cleaning the interior of the car, even removing the seats entirely so we could get access to be able to clean the floor mats properly. It also took some serious scrubbing with an old toothbrush to get the interior trim pieces nice and clean. By far and away, my favorite part of the interior would be the newly refurbished steering wheel as well as gear knob. It went from looking like this to looking like that. Huge thank you to my friend Arno for doing such a fantastic job. I will leave a link to his channel down in the description if you want to check it out. With the car nice and clean, it was time to start with the polishing process. As you can see, the paint is quite hazy and heavily swirled up, and the polishing machine is going to go a long way in transforming the exterior look of this car. There's nothing that it'll do to little paint chips like that, and that'll have to be touched up afterwards. Important to note when I'm talking about polishing the car, I don't mean the typical wax on, wax off solution that your dad might do in his driveway on a Saturday morning. I'm using a polishing machine with a foam pad and an abrasive compound. This physically takes away a layer of the clear coat to get rid of the scratches and leave a nice and smooth surface exposed underneath. Just a little update on our exterior detailing process. Busy polishing the car. It's actually polishing really nice and easy because of the convex shape of the bonnet. As soon as there's little dips and nooks and crannies in paint, then it's really difficult to polish, but this bonnet is nice and flat and slightly convex, so it's polishing very nicely. You can see this is where I have not polished yet, and this is where I have polished the bonnet. So you can clearly see the difference in just in shine, and most of the swirl marks are I managed to get out. So hard as it is and long as it takes, it is a very satisfying process. It's just going to take a while, but it's going to be absolutely worth it. When polishing your car with a machine like this, it's important to go piece by piece. You cannot tackle too big of a surface area in one go. It's also somewhat intimidating as you can really damage the paint if you're not doing it correctly, so it takes a bit of practice and getting used to. You have to be especially careful on corners like this. Paint tends to be somewhat thinner on the edges, which makes it a lot easier to burn through. So it's important not to press too hard into the corner and just keep an even pressure on the flat surface. Okay, so some scratches are going to be slightly too deep for the machine polisher to really get it out. In which case you can actually wet sand just to get the worst of it off, and then use the machine polisher to make it nice and shiny again. So this is sort of the worst mark that I can find on the car. I'm hoping the wet sanding and polishing will get it a bit better than this. It might not be perfect, but we'll give it a go. Now when you do this, you need to be really careful not to sand all the way through the clear coat and mess up your paint completely. So it's best to go with a really fine sanding paper. I'm using 2000 grit. Okay, so you can see now how easy it is from the wet sanding. So now we can use the polisher to just hopefully get it nice and shiny again, and then yeah, crossing our fingers that it looks a bit better. There we go. So I'm hoping you can see that. I'm actually hoping you can't see that. It's not 100% perfect. You can still sort of see where the scratches were, or still some of it's left. But it went from being an absolute eyesore to you having to really look hard to find and see it. So very happy with that.
Next, it was time to remove the front bumper to have it resprayed. It was in a bit of a rough shape with too many stone chips and scratches for me to touch up manually. With the bumper removed, I now had easy access to the headlights. They were also in a bit of a rough shape and in desperate need of a polish.
Okay, so I'm just wiping off the bonnet with some isopropyl alcohol and a clean rag, just to get rid of any excess polishing compound that might be stuck in little holes, just so that the touch-up will stick properly.
Touch-up is by no means a perfect solution, but it does make a significant improvement in the appearance of the car by making the stone chips a lot less visible.
We are nearing the end, finally, of Project BMW Z4. I'm busy polishing the headlights at the moment. It's sort of a similar process to paint correction, where you first sand it off with, I'm using 1000 grit, and then after 1000 grit I go to 2000 grit. And then after that I hit it with the machine polisher, and you can see how nice it looks. If you look really closely, there's still a couple of scratches, but just in comparison to what it did look like, you can see there's one big difference. Shiny headlights always makes a car just pop. So that's sort of the effect I'm hoping for. We also did get the bumper back from the respray, and at the moment it looks freaking insane. Looks like they did an incredible job with the color matching, so very excited to put that back on the car. So I'm just finishing up the headlights, and then it's time to put the puzzle back together, and hopefully then that's it for Project Z4. Getting really excited. It's been a journey. Looking forward to put it all back together.
Before putting the bumper back on the car, we first had to put the exterior trim pieces back in, as well as the fog lights. I was lucky that my wife was able to give me a helping hand, especially with the headlights, as they are quite finicky to line up perfectly. But now the car was starting to come together really nicely and ready for the bumper to be put back on. This was also quite a finicky process. We really took our time to see if we can get the panel gaps as close as possible and get the bumper lined up as perfectly as we could. Then it was simply a case of attaching the plastic body clips that keeps the bumper attached to the wheel well, and the job was complete. The finishing touches had to be some new badges, both in the front and at the back, and with that the project was now officially complete. I couldn't be more happy with how the project turned out. Not only is the car now as mechanically sound as it ever was, but I'm pretty sure it's also one of the nicest looking BMW Z4s in the country. Though the project is now pretty much complete, I'm not quite done with the BMW Z4, so keep an eye out on my channel for the next video. Thank you for watching.